Did you ever hear about Little Red Riding Hood or Cinderella? Well, we live near this town called Marburg. It's in Germany, and it's a lot like the ones in those fairy tales. Maybe that's because the men who wrote down those stories many years ago lived there. Their names were the Grimm brothers, and they wrote Grimm's fairy tales. I want to tell you a story too, but it isn't a fairy tale. It's about my own family and how we live today. Germany has vineyards and farmland, lakes and mountains. Mom's just getting me up for school. My name is Sophia, and I'm 7 years old. I'm having breakfast with Mom and Dad. We're having bread, cheese, and jam that we made from strawberries in our garden. Dad works in a factory that makes metal parts for cars, like the buckles on seatbelts. He works at night, so he'll go to sleep right after I leave. He'll get up when Johanna and Simon come home from school. Time to meet my school bus.
It's early morning in our farm in North Dakota. I live here with my mother, father, 3 brothers, grandparents, and several uncles and their families. We all farm together. The farm belonged to my grandma's family. They were homesteaders, which means they were the first people to farm this land. The government gave homesteaders 160 acres of land if the homesteader lived on the land for 5 years and planted trees there. My name is Kyle, and I'm 5 years old. Dad and I stop in to see Grandma and Grandpa, who are having breakfast. They live in the old farmhouse. The rest of us have newer houses nearby. While we're here, the garbage truck comes to pick up the trash. Even though North Dakota has a lot of land and not many people, we don't dump trash on the land. We want to keep our air and land clean.
Long before I wake up in the morning, people are gathering in the park along the river to exercise and do Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a kind of exercise for the mind and body, developed in ancient China. Although it looks like a dance, it's really the defense movements a warrior might have used, but done very slowly and thoughtfully. I'm still sleeping when my dad starts making breakfast. It's 6 o'clock when my alarm wakes me for school. My name is Yu Chinbo, and I'm 9 years old. For breakfast, we're having rice, scrambled eggs, sausage, dried pork, pickled vegetables, and milk. Mother works at the Ningbo Education Commission. Chinese people have great respect for education, and parents try to make sure their children get as much education as they can. Dad teaches people how to inspect everything that's shipped through Ningbo Harbor. Most of the goods on the ships and barges are carried in big boxes called containers. The containers can be picked up by cranes to be loaded or unloaded onto trucks or railroad cars.
My name is Zukun, and I live with my mom and dad in a village called Shiku Town near Ningbo, China. I get up about 5:15, sometimes even before my mom and dad. That's because my friends and I like to get to school about an hour before classes start. We walk about a half an hour to school, which is in the next village. On the way, we see people starting their day. washing clothes, washing vegetables, picking tea. When our teacher comes in, we show our respect by bowing. Our teacher is holding up new characters for us to learn. Characters are like letters that stand for a whole idea or thing.
I'm curious if you ever hit any bumps along the way?
Chinese culture, of course, the family is very, very, very important. You know, American culture, while, you know, American children are close to their parents, but it's quite common, it's not unusual for parents, you know, move away and change jobs, different cities, you know, thousands of miles away. Well, in Chinese culture, it's very strange. But in the case with my wife, Wang Qian, is that because she has two brothers, then it wasn't such a challenge. However, you know, during the years being together, when anytime there's an issue in the family, you know, brother needs some help, or financially or something, or wants to start a new business and is looking around for investors. You know, of course, I get a call. I don't know about French culture, but in American culture, it's always kind of like you don't want to do business with your friends or your family, your relatives, right? Right. Whereas in Asia, it's the opposite. That's what you're expected to do. And this was discussed over one Chinese New Year a couple years ago, and of course we had the drinks, the dinner, and everybody's all warm and fuzzy and they pounced. And then we're just having this discussion.
Got you drunk first.
and of course I was asked, you know, we've got so many orders, we just don't have the capital to buy the supplies. You know, so we just need a little bit of money to kind of get these things up and running. Well, and then I said, well, okay, well, how much? And they gave me a number, and then I kind of figured out, wait a minute, that would make me like the major partner, the principal. And I told him, I said, you don't want me involved in your business. You don't want me sitting in your meetings asking all these questions, this, that, and that, because I don't know anything, you know, about the kitchen cabinet business.
How did that go over, especially with your wife? Was she okay?
Well, she was very fortunate in that respect, is that she kind of has an understanding that sometimes it's best to kind of take a step back and look at something from more of an objective standpoint. Yeah, again, going back to the American perspective, it's you know, it's kind of like 3 days. It's like fish, you know, 3-4 days, things start to smell bad.
You know, go a little sour. Yeah,
exactly.
I was just curious. Have you met his family, your boyfriend's family, at all?
The gap is a bit too big with his parents. But I'm quite friend with his sisters. He's got 3 sisters, so I'm really more closer with the sisters.
When you say the gap is too big, do you mean they're not super excited?
No, the gap. No, it's not so much that. But the gap with their son is already very, very big. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's really old generation kind of very. I said Buddhist, and so really an old generation Chinese. Well, my boyfriend is already much more open on the world and different way of thinking. But his sisters, and his sister, especially his younger sisters, we are going out together quite a lot.
That's fun.
So with our boyfriend, and so for me, not so much a family, because in fact I think for women it's a bit different, Usually the men are expected to do a lot of things. Well, the women, even if they have money, they are not expected to do that much. Which is fine with me, because I definitely don't want to lend money to the sisters. In fact, my boyfriend is helping all his sisters to find jobs, and all the time he's helping, and even his friends. I mean, it was funny because yesterday I was on the phone with him, and we were talking, and we were talking because he is helping some of the friends to buy cars, so he's finding the place and etc. And I said, so because it's kind of business, In fact, it's like France is a very open word in Chinese, You can have, it's not like friends, it's my so close friends, they are so intimate with me. It's like more like kind of business friends. So I was saying, did you take any like commission or thing?
Yeah.
You know, and I said, no, you know, I cannot do that.
It's kind of trading obligations. It's not trading favors.
I said, oh, you know, they will do the same for me.
Right.
And I said, yeah, maybe 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
The other 9, they will not do the same for you.
That's the one that you need. You just need the one that'll do it for you.
So family, I don't have that much pressure. For me, it's like, it's the other world, And I wouldn't live with my parents, so I will certainly not live with his parents.
Right.